Okay, hello everybody. Today we are going to do some skin undertone mixing. So the materials that you'll need today are your mixed media paper. You're going to need a Sharpie, a pencil with an eraser, a brush or two. You'll need your paints, red, blue, yellow, and just white this time. And then you need a ruler, water for your water cup, and then something to mix your paint on. I'm just going to use the little spaces here that the palette has to mix my paint, but I recommend that you use either paper plate or wax paper. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pencil and my ruler here, and I'm going to draw 4 vertical lines. 1, 2, 3, and 4, roughly evenly spaced apart. It's okay if it's not perfect. So then you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. Then you're going to turn your ruler horizontal like this. And this time we're going to do 1, 2, 3. So you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across, horizontal, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 vertical. So 20 boxes total. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to label each one of these first 4 boxes here. This top one is called Base, B-A-S-E. The one below that is called Red. The one below that is Yellow. And the one below that is Blue. Now remember, you can always pause and go back on the video if I'm going too quickly, so keep that in mind. Alright, we can start painting now actually. Okay, so we're mixing our skin tones. So what we need to do is we need to make a nice brown, and we do that by mixing all 3 primary colors together with equal parts. So equal parts red, yellow, and blue. Just until you get a nice, deep, rich brown. I'm not adding any white. Each of these first boxes in the rows, these 4, you're not going to add any white to them. No white at all. Okay? So now that I've got this color, I'm going to put that for my base. I'm actually going to add a little bit more. There we go. And you can color over the base word. It's just to help you stay organized. And actually, I'm going to switch to a larger brush. Okay, so that's a really nice deep brown. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up more of that brown color because I ran out. And then I'm going to add some white. So as we go across, it's going to get lighter and lighter. So this next box, I'm going to add some white. Now, if you look at that, that is like really gray. It's really not a color we want for our skin tone because it's gray, and skin isn't really gray unless it's like dry skin. So a way to warm that up is you're going to take some red and a little bit of yellow, and now you have a nice warm skin tone. So I'm going to put that right here, right next to my dark skin tone that I just made for our base. Okay. It's a nice milk chocolate color. So again, you're just going to continue adding white as you go across. And remember to add that red and the yellow back in to warm it up, or else it'll just start to look gray, and we're not really looking to make gray skin tones. Oh no. Okay. Okay. There should be a clear difference between your first color, which is your darkest, and as you go along. I'm just continuing to add white to this mixture here, and then warming it up a bit with my red and yellow. Don't go too red, don't go too yellow, just equally, a little bit more white. Okay, so keep going until you reach the end. Keep adding your white, keep warming it up. You can always put it down on the paper, test it out, and say, you know, I like that, that looks good, or you can adjust it to how you need it. Okay, so those are just our base tones without any sort of extra color added to it. So rinse your brush, wipe it. For our red section, we're going to start out the same way we did with the base. Blue, red, and yellow. Except this time, we're going to add a little bit more red to our mixture. So it's going to be kind of like this brick red color. It's still really dark, no white at all. But now it's just kind of like this reddish brown color. Okay. And just like we did with our base colors, we're just going to continually add the white. Except this time, when you go to warm it up with the yellow and the red, you're going to add a little bit more red than yellow. Keep it on the red side. Alright, so just continue adding your white, warming it up with the red and the yellow. More red than yellow, remember that. Just keep going, continuing to add that white. Go in with the red. And then the yellow. Okay. Let's say I'm doing my mixture and suddenly I add blue. Oh, now it's green. Now it's green and I'm frustrated and I don't know what to do because it's green now. What do I do? To neutralize green, you're going to take its complement, which is red. More red. And then now you're back to your red. So now you can put in your yellow back again, put in your white. Don't be like me, don't use a ton of paint because it's harder to control. A lot of paint is definitely more difficult to control. Okay, rinse your brush. Wipe it. All right, for our yellow section, I'm gonna go to a new little spot over here. Always gonna start with our base brown that we did in the beginning. Except this time, we're gonna add more yellow. So when you put it down there, it's like this, I don't even know how to describe this yellow or this brown. It's like a very, it's like tree bark almost. Maybe a coffee brown almost. Okay. So just like we've done in the past two sections, we're going to take our yellow mixture here, our yellowish brown mixture, and just continue adding that white. And remember, if it starts getting gray, put in that red and the yellow and it will warm it up. Continuing to put in that white, getting lighter and lighter as I go. It's a little too warm, so I'm going to put in some blue. That's a little too green, so I'm going to counteract it with some red. Gotta get back to that yellow that I had before. There we go. Everybody messes up. It's okay. If this is your first time mixing, don't feel bad if it doesn't turn out perfect. This is like my 6th time doing this, so I've had a lot of practice. All right, continue adding that white. Keep going. And finally, our lightest box. It's a very fair shade at the end here. I'm not going to color the entire box in because I accidentally made it too big. Okay. We're going to rinse our brush, wipe it, all right. For our blue, this isn't necessarily going to be the most natural skin tone. This is going to be more of a gray. So this is going to be you kind of learning how to paint grays. So again, start out with our base tone, and then we start adding more blue in here. That's a lot of blue. Okay? That's too much blue, so I'm going to add a little bit of yellow and red, and there we go. So that's a really, really dark kind of bluish, almost like a black. Okay. So same as before, just continuing to add that white in there with a little bit of blue. It's going to kind of come out this bluish gray. Okay, continuing to add the white steadily. Oops, a little bit too green. Just keep adding that white. You don't need to warm up this section because it's already really cool. This is just learning how to make grays. And finally, our lightest section and our final section. Hooray. Always add a little bit of white in there to make things, water to make things flow a bit easier. Okay. So there you have it. Rinse your brush, wash it real good, wipe it. Make sure you kind of get all the paint out of the brush. Okay. Now it should be mostly dry. So you're going to take your Sharpie. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in and I'm going to label these boxes. So base, red, yellow, and blue. And then I can go back in and draw my lines. Sharpies really do not like to go over wet paint, so try to wait a little bit until you Sharpie this. As you can see, my Sharpie is protesting. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Sharpie. Outline all of your lines, and then you are done. Okay. So turn that into Google Classroom by tomorrow night, Wednesday the 24th of March, and you'll be good. Thank you.